If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
The last thing they saw was someone they trusted. You're tuned in to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, featuring retired FBI special agent and chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, Robin Dreeke.
2025 is going to be a year filled with a lot of very interesting trials. One of them, which I think is going to be very interesting. We know where this is going to end, so that's the spoiler. But how we get there, I guess, is half the journey. Lori Vallow Daybell going to be, as of now, representing herself as her own attorney. Believe me, I never thought I'd be saying that sentence aloud either. Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, joining me. How do you think we got here?
You know, I hate that we have to go in the realm of dark humor to find comedy sometimes in tragedy, but Lori Daybell Vallow is that. Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful she's representing herself because, as you said, we all know where the story is going to end, just what the journey is going to be to get there. At least she's going to make it entertaining. We're going to see a lot of horrendous things as we saw during the first trial, obviously, and it's going to be tragic. It's going to be heart-wrenching, but watching her in her psychoses trying to defend herself, I think is going to be the real show here.
Yes. I mean, and it's kind of, I guess I'd say barbaric in a sort of way, but it's how our system works. I guess if someone wants to sign up and go into this chamber, you'd hope there'd be more safeguards to say, this really shouldn't be happening. We're just kind of poking at a rabid animal here right now. But the bar for competency, I don't know, maybe should be higher.
You would think. Well, it'll be really interesting because a lot of people think they can defend themselves, you know, and media makes it that way too in movies. I mean, so my wife and I, one of the shows we watched on Paramount Plus was Tulsa King, you know, and in Tulsa King, Sylvester Stallone playing the mobster defends himself in court, and he makes it look like you can do this. And, you know, when you watch things on TV, you think you can do this. But we saw a really great example of someone trying to represent themselves, and it was a total goat rope, and that was the suitcase murderer. Mm-hmm. You know, she tried to defend herself, and you can't. I mean, there's a reason why lawyers go through so many years of school, so much years of practice, going through the bar exam, and whether you like lawyers or not, doesn't matter. I mean, there's a lot of skills there and a lot of reps, as we talk about, to get to the level you need to be to articulate the law, to know how to put it before a jury, to know how to behave in court, to know how to there's just a lot of knowledge. And the hubris that she has, to think that she can defend herself when her life's, well, again, why not? She's already going to jail for the rest of her life. So, hey, why not we'll throw it on the wall? It'll be really, I think, good for the world to understand the crazy in that brain, though. I think that's really going to be on full display.
Does the world need to know the crazy in that brain? I guess.
I think us and our audience do. I mean, yeah. It's really. I think so. Anytime I can sit and gain more data points that we can then reference for other cases, you know, that's sure. just more. It's just more reps that we get, and I think we're going to see a lot of reps when we look at that crazy.
I guess. I mean, can you find? I mean, because yes, to look at reps, to look at crazy more and more, it kind of helps you, piece it together and see it more from the crazy perspective, which is a difficult thing to do because everybody's crazy is a little bit different. With Lori Vallow, do you find consistency in her crazy, or do you find it to be all over the board? Meaning when you do look at it and you examine her behavior, is there any other person that those data points are going to benefit you, or is she just too, it's just where the paint falls, it falls when you splatter it on the wall.
You agree? That's a great point, Tony. here's what I'm expecting, but if I see and observe something different, well, that'll be a really good learning example for me. And what I'm expecting is this. My hypothesis and conjecture on her is that she's delusional. There is no doubt, because she's rationalized her abhorrent behavior by fitting it around a religious paradigm that she created to do one thing: serve herself and make a profit off of selling of life insurance. Literally, this to me boils down to a life insurance scheme.
Yeah.
Where everyone that had life insurance mysteriously got dark and had to be killed so they could get their life insurance. And I think she fell in love with this idea of this because she had zero skill sets in life. And so her behaviors from that point became very consistent throughout everything to me. Everyone that she encountered in life, one, didn't like her because no one stood up behind her and said, hey, this is my mom, this is my sister, this is my daughter, this is this great person, this is wrong. No, she was abandoned by everyone because she's a self-absorbed narcissist. And so I'm curious as to whether that is still holding, because I believe it is, from everything we've seen and everything, the rants that she's had, and at every stage, it says that she's rationalized killing her own kids and killing the people around her and condoning the killings of people because they were dark. So she and her husband or her life partner could profit from their life insurance. And so I think that's what we're going to see consistently. Now, if we don't see that, another psychosis has happened or another rationalized behavior, that'll be really interesting.
The case of Lori Vallow is so fascinating because there's just so many layers to this onion. When we're talking about Lori and Chad and this ultimately being a big life insurance scam to collect life insurance on people that die. Ultimately, I mean, that's the skeleton of this whole thing. So if that's the skeleton of this, do you think Lori and Chad were ever having conversations on that level of just, this is a life insurance scheme, and here's what we have to do to get that next 300,000 or whatever it is from whoever is going to die? Or were they always having a conversation a bit up here on the fluff where they were talking in terms of God and demons and zombies and everything that they had to do to justify the murders in their mind, but never directly saying we're doing it for the insurance money? You get what I'm saying?
Yes. My guess is that they never directly talked about, we're going to do this to get the insurance money.
Yeah.
Because they really weren't going for the insurance money. It's to me, okay, I'm going to relate it to the spy world.
Yeah.
Or fun for a second. People, when I do my talks around the country or around the world, and I always ask, so how do you recruit a spy? And they said, oh, you got to throw a lot of money at them. I go, no. You think about, what are they going to do with the money? They're going to pay for education for the kids. They want a lifestyle that they don't have to worry about later on. They have elder care for the parents. And so it's that lifestyle that they're going for. Money becomes a tool to get them there. So same thing here. And we all are motivated by safety, security, and prosperity for ourselves and those we care about in our lives. Money is a tool to get to that. It's a what. And so in this case, I believe it's the same thing. I don't think Chad and Lori were ever talking about, we need to do these things, so this life insurance scheme, because we want money. They were thinking about, in my mind, that, hey, we deserve, Chad, you deserve, because you're the Messiah, a place in Hawaii. Well, how can we make that happen? Oh, I had a vision, that I had a dream that these dark souls are coming in. And so I think they were fitting all these little nooks and crannies into a narrative that helped them rationalize to, we deserve this because we are a cult. They never called themselves this, but it was literally a mini cult because they fit the definition of it, except the isolation of their people they were trying to bump off. That's what really unraveled them. But I think that's what they were doing. They weren't necessarily saying, Chad and Lori sitting around, all right, so today we're going to, who in our lives has life insurance plans? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're going to target him for dark first, him for dark second. See what I mean? I don't think it was at that cognitive level, because that would negate their own image of themselves, and negate their own self-identity. Robert Greene's laws of human nature.
Yeah.
We do not accept things that invalidate our own self-impression, our own self-image. And so, but doing that, they would actually be legitimizing and call themselves, we are targeting people for murder to make money. They wouldn't do it.
And that's the thing, because so many people who do go on life insurance schemes, it's very much just on the, mechanical level of it, of,
yes,
okay, here's what it is. But to be able to get there, they build a big story around it, and you got to dig through that story to eventually figure out what the hell's going on here. And they're somewhat unaware. I can buy, honestly, that Lori is unaware that this is some sort of life insurance scheme. I'm not so sure on Chad, though, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that can be part of Lori's defense at all, where it's just, she is, I'm not saying she is, but where they can argue that she is a victim. She has these mental health problems, and Chad just played along into it so he could maintain having the hot wife, and had a lot more to do with the mechanical level of this whole thing, and was much more aware of that than Lori, and just fed her what he thought he needed to feed her to have her. I wonder if I wonder if some of that's like almost literally true too. It doesn't excuse her behavior, but I think that might be kind of what happened.
I get the feeling of that as well. There is no doubt. If I know I use imagery a lot. If she's got 2 marbles rolling around upstairs, he might have 3.
Yeah.
The challenge with that is proving it.
Yeah.
And I think those text messages, I think that is actually his greatest undoing, is their level of communication that he was, remember, the coy way of using some subterfuge in their communications, I think really undermined him a lot. So I think more of that will probably come out at the next trial. But I'm with you. I think he was a lot more cognizant of the fact, because again, he is just like her, someone with 0 skill sets in life and how to provide for themselves. He's a failed author, he's a failed messiah, whatever it is, he's failed. Except he's found someone that believed in his BS to do life insurance fraud.
Yeah,
and so whatever narrative he needed to do to support him and his lifestyle of doing nothing and being useless, did that.
Do you think when Lori gets up there to defend herself, are we going to see a different story play out? Because there has been a diversion to the story already after the fact. She telling her son on the phone that Tylee killed JJ accidentally, and then she killed herself out of regret and remorse. And then Lori walked in on it and freaked out, and then Chad and whoever, Alex, I think, they took care of it, and that was the end of it. She never thought anything further of, like, should we call the police? Is there an investigation? What happened here? Funerals, things like that, and justifies it to saying to her son, well, you do know her wishes were to be cremated. It's horrible, but it's so horrible, but it's just so twisted. What are we going to see that version of her up there? Do you think we have any reason not to expect anything different?
I think we might see some new storylines.
Yeah.
She's demonstrated so far. We have a lot of data points in that life arc of an inability to face her true identity and who she is and what she's done. She's going to keep presenting things to rationalize who she is and not confront her identity and her self-worth. And so I don't think we're going to see anything except some more fantastical stories. I mean, that's literally what I think we're going to see. And I think so he'll be we'll put it in an envelope, seal it, and open it up when the trial comes to bear. Mm-hmm. I think we might see her a couple days in the courtroom, and then the judge is going to just say, no way, we're appointing someone, you have to take someone, because this is just too much of it's just going nowhere. Yeah, so I think that's what's really going to happen.
I think they're going to run into a roadblock there, and they're going to have to reconvene and figure it out. Whether it's a mistrial or, look, your assistant counsel, because sometimes the assistants that they do, she does have some assistant counsel, but a lot of times they are not even supposed to speak. They're just supposed to kind of be there, guide the plane, unless the judge steps in. I would not be surprised if that happened. But how do you even step in on something?
Well, that'll be interesting. Again, I'm not an expert on what on this aspect in the courtroom. But again, she's going to do so many missteps in the courtroom that he's going to have to stop it.
Yeah.
And remember, and you said some great things there too about, the assistance that she gets. Well, remember, from the looks of the things that her lawyers were saying at her trial, you're like, what defense attorney would even say that? You could tell Lori said, you have to say this. You could tell that it was Lori saying it anyway. So she thinks that she's got all the answers in that head, and she's highly manipulative.
Yeah.
And so she's going to try to manipulate that courtroom. She's going to try to manipulate the jury with all her fantastical, whimsical ideas.
It makes me wonder if we got to this point, not because Lori truly wants to represent herself, but because she can't get anyone to represent her. That is of any sort of ilk or of any sort of competence level that's going to not just be doing it strictly for the publicity. I wonder if that's. But who's advising Lori? Is this 100% in Lori's corner? Does Lori have any loving critics? Is there anyone there for Lori? I mean, I don't know that there is. I mean, and if she's the one that's ultimately calling all these shots, who knows what that judgment is? I mean, and that's why she's thinking this. I don't know, because I can't imagine there's a lot of people lining up to represent Lori Vallow Daybell. I know there's publicity, but I don't know that there's a lot of people that are going to be able to, even argue any of her stuff in court with any sort of competency.
There might be. I mean, so even the suitcase murderer, she got a lawyer to pony up and defend her, just for the notoriety of it. And when you said, if anyone lining up, does she have any loving critics? I think she probably does, but they're probably all in prison with her. I think, so because she's so manipulative and because she's so charismatic, she's probably got a cult following inside. Again, pure conjecture, but when you do that deep dive on active empathy and you place yourself in the shoes of those around her, of those who are experiencing her, and you have nothing else to do all day long except listen to that, she's probably got a lot of people feeding her a lot of ideas, and it probably ain't helping whatsoever.
No,
because I think her loving critics are
they're not necessarily critical at that point. If you're a cult member, you're not critical of the leader. So if you're a friend of Lori Vallow Daybell, you are a member of the cult now. So you're just basically a yes man or woman to her. And so, well, I wonder if that's where we're getting the new storyline too. Like, what if this happened? What if that happened? It wasn't you ordering the hit on your children.
So what we'll probably see is the first day of court, she's going to come in extremely confident with a great plan in place for this psychosis she's living in, because she's pontificated all these rationalizations to her cult inside, who's then echoed it back. So she's living in an echo chamber that she's created. And so she's got a lot of confidence with this. And so she'll be flummoxed by the fact that no one else is buying this crap that she's spewing, because she's surrounded herself by it the entire time. Again, pure projection way out, but living. That's what we do. This is what empathy is. Empathy is a deep dive to see the life through someone else's optics as best we can with the data points we have, looking at the life arc they've established. And I can see this. I mean, I can see that happening like that. We'll see how it goes.
I think Lori's brain functions like a choose your own adventure book.
Yes, it is. It's a Mad Lib.
And she's always picking the wrong pages. However, the book never ends. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap that piece there. Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
Let's be honest. Nothing kills the thrill of a good murder mystery like a commercial for laundry detergent. It's like someone slapping a closed sign on your favorite dive bar. But you're not here for that, are you? You're here for the good stuff. So ditch the ads and upgrade to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get your crime straight, no chaser. Commercial-free, with extended interviews and early access. It's like getting the bartender's special when the bar's already closed. Search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and drink it all in.